Good evening. Good evening. I have the time as 7:38, so I will call the public hearing and regular business meeting of the Mayor and Council for the City of Snellville, Georgia, Monday, March the 10th, 2025 to order. We do have a quorum. All members are present, and we'll start tonight with an invocation to be given by Mike Sabag.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening with gratitude for the opportunity to serve the great city of Snellville and its people. We ask for your wisdom and guidance as we gather, discuss the matters that shape our community. Bless our leaders with discernment and integrity, that every decision made tonight reflects justice, fairness, and the well-being of all who call this city home. Lord, we lift up the work before us, the responsibilities and governance, the management of the resources, and the dedication of the city staff. Grant us clarity to discuss the challenges with courage and to steward our cities and accountability and wisdom. We pray especially for the safety and strength of our police department, that they may serve with honor and protection. May this meeting be marked with unity, purpose, and a shared commitment to make Snellville a place of opportunity, safety, and prosperity for all. We trust in your promise, as written in Proverbs 3, verse 5, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. And now we have several members of our SYC that is going to lead us in the pledge. Come on, y'all. Pick a couple of you. Come on down and lead us. Thank you. We have nothing under ceremonial matters, so we'll move to the minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes from the February 24th, 2025 meeting.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. Under invited guests, we have some South Gwinnett High School students that are going to give us an introduction to Civic Week.
Good evening. I am Francesca Thompson, the Academy Coach at South Gwinnett High School, and this week is National Civic Engagement Week. And this is going to be one of our first things that we have to kick off for this week. We invited our students to come and be a part of the meeting today and to engage with our Snellville Youth Commission as well, just to understand the kind of the behind the scenes with our city government. And so we just appreciate you guys inviting us and letting us be a part. We have a lot of things scheduled this week. Tomorrow we'll be with the microtransit. They'll be coming to South Gwinnett to kind of give us a tour and also let us know what that is about and how we can utilize that. And then I want one of our students, Marianne, she has a comment.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here, of course, today. I'm a part of Future Business Leaders of America. I'm the Region 13 officer, and I am president of the South Gwinnett chapter. And so At the South Gwinnett chapter, we are asking for people in the community and business leaders within the community if they could come out and support us, not through financial support only, but also come out to our meetings, just speaking to the students and really giving an impact, or even judging us for like our future competitions as state. We kind of had, with the Performing Arts Center, they did a little collaboration which got them 3rd place within the entire state, and we would love to see more of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, under committee or department reports, we have a report to be given by the Snellville Youth Commission.
Good evening. My name is Day Kibi, and I have the privilege of serving as the mayor of the city's youth council. Today, my fellow council members and I are honored to present an update to the city and the city council, highlighting our recent initiatives, ongoing projects, and future plans aimed to make a meaningful impact in our community.
Hi, good evening. My name is Tamayoa Aderipet, and I am the student vice mayor of the Snellville Youth Commission.
Hello, good evening. My name is Amy Correa, and I'm the cabinet leader for Snellville Youth Commission.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilmen and women. My name is Abdul Kolawale, and I'm the cabinet leader of Snellville Youth Commission.
Good evening. My name is Eden Gade, and I'm a new member of Snellville Youth Commission.
And this is our wonderful student team made up of various different students across high schools such as Brookwood, Shiloh, and GSMST. So SYC and our purpose.
Who are we? Snellville Youth Commission was founded in 2016 to engage local youth in civic leaderships, and it's open to rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors from Brookwood, Grayson, High School, and GSMST. And it's guided by advisory board, including city council members and community leaders. We have monthly meetings where we meet up here and travel opportunities to engage with local and global leaders. Like we just previously went on a GMA trip where we met up with different cities from all over Georgia, and we discussed and we had like a leadership conference. Our 5 goals are to increase civic engagement, enhance leadership skills, and expand community impact and build connections. Last but not least, to earn civic engagement and diplomacy. Our purpose is to educate, teach students about civic and government engagement, to encourage active participation in the community and civic initiatives such as the Juneteenth events that we put on and different stuff like that, and to lead, to develop leadership skills like this, just coming on and talking to people, and just to connect with everybody and just the community in general. Thank you.
All right, good evening again. For our MLK Day of Service project, Snellville Youth Commission decided to take a visit to the Oaks at Snellville elderly home. Our intention was to bring commodities such as bathroom essentials, socks, coloring books, and colored pencils, which we passed around to the elderly. We also had West Point Military Academy and their gospel choir share their amazing voices with the elderly to enlighten the mood and make sure to put a smile on their faces. Lastly, we walked around passing the commodities, as I said earlier, to the elderly and sat with them, listening to their stories, and we also shared parts of our lives to them as well. It was a very inspiring moment, and it was nice to see insights from the elderly people and those who have lived before us.
Working to create Juneteenth Unity Day for the first time ever was an incredibly fun and gratifying experience. For starters, we were organized into committees, each assigned a different task at hand. Tamiwa and I, for example, we worked under marketing, where we were in charge of promoting our Juneteenth event to the civilians of Snellville.
Since this was our first time planning, we did invite small vendors, student entrepreneurs, and small businesses from around Snellville. We also had a saxophonist and a violinist play. We had a DJ, and we also had fun activities. And my favorite part was playing tug of war with the elementary students and middle school students. And overall, the Juneteenth Unity Day was a success because we got to get the community to come out to support an important holiday and to understand why it was made and why we should celebrate it together, hence the name Unity Day.
Beyond local efforts, we're also looking forward to expanding our engagement at the state and national level. Next year, we plan to attend the annual symposium held in Savannah, where we will connect with young leaders, exchange ideas, and gain valuable insights on civic leaderships that we could hopefully apply back to our city. Additionally, in November, we aim to join the National League of Cities, a pivotal step in expanding our network, learning best practices from other municipals, and advocating for youth representation and policy discussions. In closing, our journey as City's Youth Council has been both rewarding and inspiring. We are proud of what we have accomplished, and we know there is still so much more to do. With your continued support, we will keep pushing forward, hosting impactful events, engaging with decision makers, and ensuring that young voices remain at the forefront of civic leadership. Thank you.
I want to commend our students. We have such an active group, and every time I interact with them, I'm just so impressed with our students and what they've accomplished and who they're becoming. And would like to thank also our advisors, if y'all would stand up too. They do a remarkable job with helping to plan and coordinate and keep everybody on track. So we appreciate everything that you all do in our community.
If I could just brag on a couple of people for a moment. As several of you know, I've had some challenges with my health this year and left some gaps in the sense of leadership. No, it did not. Rochelle Brown stepped up, Esther Nadewa stepped up. Natalie has always been there since day one. When we first gathered around the table in the workroom and in 2016, was somewhere around March of 2016, about 9 years ago, and really just came up with the mission, the vision, the goals for this organization. So I thank you. Rochelle has brought 2 new advisors in while I was down and out in the surgeries, Rodney Lumpkins and David Houston. I appreciate you coming on board. Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve tonight's agenda. It is March 10th, 2025.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. And now we'll go into our public hearing. We have several items under our public hearing agenda. We have item A, second reading, UDO 25-01, consideration and action on amendment number 8 to text of Chapter 200 Zoning and Land Use of the Snellville Unified Development Ordinance. Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. We're going to get into some really exciting stuff now. It's actually just a UDO text amendment, so bear with me while we go through the changes. This is a required process for these types of documents. Is just like every other policy document in the city, it changes and evolves to meet the needs of the city. So we've got a few changes that we need to implement into the code. It has gone before Planning Commission. They recommended approval, but I like to just go over a short list of the main points and the applicable code sections that were changed. One of the major changes that we made was to require rear entry garages with alley access for any kind of single-family attached residential developments. It could be townhomes, anything with more than 2 units, basically. And it requires that front entry garages with street access are prohibited, that those garages will be assessed, ingress and egress will be provided in the rear. Secondly, we added public, civic, and cultural center to a list of public institutional uses. It was to better define a certain use type that we have even here in our city with the new event space over the brewery space. We needed to add some definitions in there. We also, the biggest change I would say is that we added standards to require a special use permit for a special event facility, basically meaning any kind of wedding venue or event venue. Previously, as part of the Snellville Code, didn't allow for any kind of alcohol serving or anything, really wasn't specified for food service either, and where it put us was with a use that wasn't well regulated and that needed more from the city in order to operate correctly. So when we added that into the UDO, we set the SUP means that it has to come before mayor and council. And along with that SUP, and only with that SUP after you've been vetted by mayor and council in the city, can you then be allowed to serve through caterers and licensed alcohol caterers, alcohol and meals and whatever else you want to serve there. But it has to be done from a licensed SUP after receiving approval from the mayor and council. We wanted to be real careful with how we legislated those, because potentially if they're not well defined, what you can have are small areas or kind of pop-up bars and pop-up clubs that operate as a facility, aren't necessarily really operating as a facility. So we took extra time. City Attorney's Office did really well in kind of guiding us through the legislation for that. And we had some changes to state definitions. So we added a medical cannabis dispensary, and where they're allowed, we basically copied everything that the state provides. We added CBD stores, made a couple of spelling changes, just some general updates as far as stuff you guys don't work with every day that we see, small things that needed to be fixed. We did add for a food truck base of operation in the LM district, meaning that if you have a food truck service business, you have to have a place to basically park it, prepare your foods and everything. So we've had some people ask about that, so we want to provide that in LM, which is generally away from the general public and appropriate for those type of uses. We added definitional terms and standards for temporary shelters. We've seen a rise in temporary religious structures, specifically in rear and front yards, that basically had no way to not necessarily regulate them, but allow them. Everything else was basically prohibited, so we added some of those standards in there. We added minimum vehicle parking requirements for single-family attached and detached uses and how those are defined, and we amended requirements and regulations for dumpster size enclosures and required that they have a door, a pedestrian access door. Again, another issue that's kind of come up over time that we needed to address. And that's the bulk of the changes. If you want to look through your packet, there is a line-by-line item change. There's actually 21 changes over 5 or 6 articles too. When we change one thing in the UDO, it affects like 6 other articles. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank John Dennis for keeping up with it all, because it's a lot of detail work in here. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions of council for Mr. Thompson? Okay, thank you, Jason. This is a public hearing, so we will open the floor to public comment. If anyone here tonight would like to speak regarding this Unified Development Ordinance changes, please step forward, provide your name and address for the record. Not seeing anyone rushing forward to talk about these items, so I will close the public hearing portion and entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Amendment 8 to the text of Chapter 200 of the Snellville Unified Development Ordinance.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
I heard Todd coming out first, so we'll go with Todd on the second. So we have you were louder, but Todd was first. So we have a motion and a second. So any council discussion? These are changes that we've been discussing as a council for several months now, and just trying to make sure we get everything corrected in here as we see these issues arise. With that, all in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed, so that motion carries. Now we'll move on to item B, second reading, ordinance 2025-04, consideration and action on an ordinance to amend the alcoholic beverage ordinance, Chapter 6, to provide for and amend procedures for obtaining special event licenses and special event spaces to obtain alcohol licenses, to provide severability, to repeal conflicting ordinances, to provide an effective date, and for other purposes. Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, by changing the UDO and allowing for the SUPs to serve alcohol, then we have to amend the alcohol beverage ordinance. And that's the bulk of this change, is to provide the context and the regulations in which the SUPs can operate, how they have to report their operations, security. It's mainly just the steps it takes for them to have a license and then ultimately serve alcohol. We also use this time to amend some of the eligibilities and issuance of our temporary special event license, which are used in many different ways, sometimes at the Catholic Church, it could be at the Montessori school, but it basically allows for these organizations typically to have and typically give alcohol, but still be licensed, through the state, but doesn't require the full heavy hand of, a permanent yearly license. And that was the bulk of those changes, and I'd be happy to answer any questions for those as well.
Any questions of council for Mr. Thompson? Nope. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Again, this is a public hearing item on our second reading, so I will open the floor to public comment. If anyone would like to speak to this ordinance, please step forward and give your name and address for the record. Seeing no one rushing for the microphone, I will close the public comment and entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-04, consideration and action on an ordinance to amend the alcohol beverage ordinance, Chapter 6.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion by council? Okay, then I will ask for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. Now we have item C as a first reading. For those of you who are not familiar with our process, anytime we're changing an ordinance or law of the city, it requires 2 appearances on our agendas. First reading, we do not do public discussion. We just read the title, and then we will waive this to be placed on our next agenda, where we will have the full public comment section of that and fully flesh out the project. This is item C, first reading, RZ 24-04, LUP 24-02, consideration and action on applications by KJ Luxury Homes, LLC, the applicant, and Summit Chase Country Club, Inc., property owner, requesting A, to amend the Snellville 2045 future land use map from park residential to residential low density, And B, amend the official zoning map from RS30 Single Family Residential District to RS5 Single Family Residential District for 150 lot single family detached subdivision and 19.66 acres of open space, including country club style tennis courts, swimming pool, clubhouse, and other amenities for residents to enjoy on a 95.386 acre vacant unused golf course and country club site with a gross density of 1.57 lots per acre, situated along Green Turf Drive and Classic Drive, 3197 Classic Drive, Snellville, Georgia, tax parcel 5093106. This is a first reading, so is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, make a motion that we waive the first reading of RZ 24-04 and LUP 24-02 and place it on our regularly scheduled meeting for public hearing on March 24th.
So there's a motion to waive and place on the March 24th agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. That ends our public hearing portion for tonight. Does this go to everybody? Send on those on down. We have nothing under consent agenda or old business, so we'll move to new business. First, we have item A, consideration and action on adoption of resolution 2025-02, resolution to adopt a revised fee schedule for the Planning and Development Department. Mr. Thompson.
Thank you. It's been quite some time since we've amended the fee schedule, but this actually wasn't prompted by any of our actions. It was prompted by a state bill, or Georgia House Bill 461, and the requirements of said bill was to complete the collection of regulatory fees to be used for regulatory services and not for general fund operating expenses. Basically means you can only collect as much as you're using for the permit, basically not to just dump into the general fund. We already did a pretty good job with that. But in order to meet that, basically the way they set it up is they wanted to make sure that the smaller jobs in our industry, $75,000 and below for commercial and then a little bit lower for residential, that those fees were all encompassing. Like you get a review fee, you get everything under $75,000 is a certain fee, it's a flat fee. Before, everything was scaled to a construction cost, and sometimes even a small job could cost a lot of money and it would drive the cost up even though it was still relatively easy to inspect and administer. So the state levied that requirement, and this was our response to it. Not only did we take the opportunity to change the look of it, this one I think is from 98 or something. It's been a while, since before I got here, and we brought it into more usable table. We combined a lot of the individual categories, cleaned it up, but ultimately we met the requirements by the state. We created tiered project classes and combined a lot of, especially for residential type, that we get a lot of residential permits for accessory buildings. We combined the plan review, the permit, and everything into one simple fee with the CO, and then limited it based on job costs. So the everyday citizen that's putting in permits for decks and even room renovations and stuff will see lowered fees, more online with a tiered system, whereas the larger, multi-million dollar and above kind of projects, even a little smaller than that, will still be based on a cost per square foot that's generated through the ICC code. So that's the main changes, but we did take the opportunity to update and amend the review fees that we were paying over and above what we were getting in from applicants. A lot of that was we were probably 40 to 80% behind everybody in the county on a lot of those fees. Again, we haven't moved them for almost 20 years. So we're still the lowest. We're a little more closer on market rates, especially when we're using hourly for a lot of stuff like zoning certifications and then third-party reviews. As you know, the city doesn't have its own engineers or engineering reviewers. We have them, but they're contracted. So they charge us by the hour. We had to make sure we're taking enough in on some of these complicated construction plans. You know, you're spending hours and hours and hours and submitting, you know, a $300 review fee, and it ended up, you know, becoming a burden to the city. And then in other areas, the review fees were too high for what we're doing, so we brought them down. So if you went over painstakingly every little piece, you would have seen them, but it's all there.
Any questions of council for Mr. Thompson? No?
Oh, we had to have our alcohol fee schedule too, which was another big portion.
Oh, and that was added in there
Yeah,
as
for
well.
the SUP.
Very good. We appreciate all
Thank
your
you.
hard work on this. With that explanation, is there a motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 2025-02 as read by the mayor.
There is a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion by council? Then all in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. Mr. Thompson, you have the new fee schedule. We have item B. This is a big item. Consideration and action on award of bid for the construction of a new community recreation center at T.W. Briscoe Park. This is a project that has been in the conceptual discussion phase for over 20 years. This was part of phase 3 of the master plan for T.W. Briscoe Park that was done before I was on council, so well before 2005. And it was always kind of that big, will we ever get this done kind of thing at the end of phase 3. We have completed phase 1, 2A, and 2B, and so we moved on to phase 3. We actually did an update to the park master plan before we got too far into this, and just made sure that the master plan that was done way back 20 years ago was still in keeping with the needs of our current citizens. And so it's really a very exciting point that we've gotten to this stage, that we've got a design, and we've got the plans all drawn up, and it went out to bid, and the bids came back close to what we have budgeted for the project. We're just a little bit short, but we're hoping to count on some other federal or some other funding to come through. And but we do have a bid to award tonight. So is there a motion?
Motion to award the contract for the 34,000 square foot community recreation center to Place Services Incorporated, or PSI, in the amount of $11,373,602.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Second. There is a motion and a second. Any discussion by council?
I would just like to thank staff for their hard work on this. Our Parks Department's not here. Oh, she's hiding in the back. Back when Lisa just mowed the grass, and that's an understatement on what she took care of. Back when I had a full head of hair, it's been that long ago, we were talking about doing this, and it has taken a lot of work by a lot of people, members of this council, in order to get to this point. And I can't wait to be there for the ribbon cutting and start to enjoy this place with all of you and all of y'all.
Anyone else? And I would also like to compliment, we've been working with GMC, Goodwin Mills, and Kaywood I always forget the last one, has been our design and architecture firm, and I feel like they've done a great job. This facility will have 2 basketball courts in the gym, and it will have the second floor walking track around, so it'll be indoor walking track, the new park offices, and then 3 other rooms that can be used for different purposes, yoga or aerobics or some other things. And of course, the basketball courts will be able to be modified to be anything we want, pickleball, volleyball, anything you can do indoors with those courts. And it is something that I know Lisa Platt's been dreaming about for eons, and so it's exciting. This, in my eyes, of course, I've only got 2.5 years left on my term, but in my eyes, this is the last really big project, construction project that the city will have that's been on the radar. And so it's really exciting that we've gotten to this point. So we have a motion and a second to award the bid to Place Services, Inc. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor. Any opposed? None. So we will award that bid. Yay! We have item C, consideration and action on approval of new purchasing policy. What we've done, we had to do this in several stages, and what this new purchasing policy is going to allow our city staff to do is our previous purchasing policy required that anything greater than $10,000 had to go through a sealed bid process, which is time-consuming. You've got to put out the request for qualifications or proposals or the, request for bids, and anymore, just about everything costs more than $10,000. So it would mean if we were buying a new copier, we'd have to go out to a sealed bid. So it's not a really good, effective use of time and money. So we're changing that purchasing policy. It's in stages, and there's requirements for smaller amounts, but sealed bids will not come into play unless something was going to be more than $75,000. That's the major change in the purchasing policy. So with that, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the new purchasing policy.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments by council? Then all in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. Now we'll move on to item D, consideration and action on surplus of public works vehicles and equipment. The items being surplused are a dump truck, a bucket truck, a John Deere Gator, a baler, another baler, and 2 wood splitters. These items, if the vote passes, will go out to bid on, what is it, Gov Deals. So if anybody's interested in buying some used equipment, you can go to Gov Deals and see what's up there. With that, is there a motion?
Motion to surplus the public works vehicles and equipment.
There's a motion to surplus. Is there a second?
Second.
With a motion and a second, all in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. That ends our regular business meeting, so we will move to council reports, and we'll start with Councilmember Carter.
Good evening, everyone. I have nothing special to report. I'd just like to thank all of you, and I sincerely mean that. Thank all of you for attending our council meetings. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Norman. Councilmember Hetherington.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out tonight. I have been attending meetings and involved in volunteering and all of that kind of stuff since 2011. And I know that I was not a part of it. They were kicking around the idea of this community center in Briscoe Park then. And Todd referred to back when he had a full head of hair. I'm pretty sure I was still in high school when that conversation started. And I think this is one of the first really big things we started talking about when I came onto council. It was one of the first big presentations and really big things. I think Lisa's been holding her breath since then. That's the biggest smile I've ever seen on her face. So congratulations, Lisa. I'm really excited to have been a part of this conversation and this vote, and really look forward to being there and enjoying it and using that property. Also, last week, Terry Corey, the chairman of our planning commission, and I were able to attend a training. We are very fortunate in the state of Georgia in the amount of training that we have access to, as far as what our responsibilities are, how to carry out those responsibilities, how to do it effectively and to the most lawful and the best result for our community. And I think this class that I attended last week was probably one of the best I've ever, it was the most informative and one of the most empowering I think that I've attended in my 18 months or so. It was about planning and zoning. And I'm really excited. I want to put some information together from what we talked about to share with both our planning board and my co-counsel up here. So I'm just really grateful for that. Look forward to sharing that and better equipping all of us to vote on what's good for your lives. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you, Carrie. Councilmember Linsky.
Okay, congratulations on surviving the time change this weekend and a rainy Monday. Both of those were very challenging today. It's dark out still almost until 9 o'clock, it seemed. So at least we got through the most challenging part of that today. We have a great new business opening on, actually, I believe they're already opening. They're already open this week. They're doing an official ribbon cutting. All of you are invited Friday the 14th at 11:30 a.m. S&S International Market, subs and vegan food. And they will specialize, their specialty is an Ethiopian store and products. So please come out again, 11:30 a.m. on Friday the 14th. That's just a couple of days away. Also, Councilman Carter and I will be participating on Thursday this week at South Gwinnett High School. We will be displaying our knowledge of civics as part of Civic Education Week. I hope that we do very well, competing for fabulous prizes. So I'm sure it's going to be a great experience on Thursday. And let's see, we have no, I'll let Gretchen talk about the farmer's market.
Thank you, Christy, and we'll move to Councilmember Schultz.
I would like to ask for your prayers for two people that have been very special volunteers for Snellville, Jeff and Marie Lasher. Well, I'm asking for prayers for their family members. Jeff was a very faithful Snellville Farmers Market volunteer. He worked with us for a few years, and he was on the green every Saturday, every summer. On Saturday morning at about 6:30, he arrived, and he helped with getting all the vendors to their spaces and their vehicles unloaded. He was well loved by all of the vendors and all of the volunteers. And then his wife, Marie, if any of you ever had children that rode the train, she always was there helping the children get on the train, helping them get off the train. She did that for every stat event where there was a train running. And then both of them were poll workers for a few years for city elections. Well, they both passed away. They'd been married 60 years. They passed away within one day of each other the week before last, which was just amazing to me, that it was like they didn't want to go on without each other. And they had always been, whenever you talked about them, at least they went to the same church I go to, and it was always, Jeff and Marie, Marie and Jeff. I mean, you didn't talk about one without talking about the other one. So they were very, very, very close, and there was a funeral for them on Saturday. So if you just think of their daughters, they have 2 daughters. If you think of them in your prayers. And yes, there is a farmer's market this Saturday. We're hoping that the rain holds off. So 9, what?
Plant sale.
Oh, the plant sale. I thought, what have I? Yeah, the market is 9 to noon. The greenhouse team from the community garden will be having their first plant sale, first spring plant sale. They will have cool season vegetables this week, things like lettuce, some herbs, I believe, and some other items I can't recall right now. Bok choy, yeah, but they will be there. They do a great job, and they will have, the gardeners will be there to help you choose what would be best for your garden bed. They can tell you about how each plant grows and what to expect. So come on out. They're still priced at $2 for a 4-pack, which is just an unbelievable price. That is one thing that has not gone up in price in the last few years. Their prices have stayed the same, and it's a great deal. So thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, Gretchen. Mayor Pro Tem Warner.
I will second what my colleagues said about the plant sale. I have to say that those are some of the hardest plants to kill. I have a lot of skill at killing plants, and they hung on a long time last year. A lot of the things that were on our schedule or on our agenda tonight, we go through them really quick, and it makes it seem as though, oh, that was nothing. But that UDO update that thankfully I didn't discuss, some of those items on there go back to a year ago, 2023 October, when we saw things here in the city that when you pass a zoning ordinance, you think you get it exactly perfect. And then as life goes on, people teach you that it's not. And so you make periodic changes. And I know that was a lot of work for staff. That was a lot of work for our attorneys and for council. And I really appreciate everybody taking the time to make sure that we make the changes to make our city better, because that's the only reason we're here. I want to apologize to Natalie. Evidently, I've been bumped from the schedule on Thursday, so I will not be participating in the Civics Bowl, but that's okay. I won't take it personally. Norman's better looking than I am. I understand how it is. Okay, maybe I do take it a little personally. The last few meetings I've talked about our lovely state legislature and the wonderful things that they are doing down there, and been praying that they just passed a budget and would go home. They haven't. They had crossover day last Thursday, and luckily tort reform is still alive. It changed a little bit, but it is House Bill 531 now, and it is very necessary for each and every one of us, because all of us have seen our house payments go up, our car insurance payments go through the roof, and the reason for that is insurance companies, whether they actually are or not, feel that they are being treated unfairly in the courts here in the state of Georgia, and we are one of the only surrounding states that has not passed tort reform. It's currently in the Senate. Our senators for the city of Snellville are Tanya Anderson and Mr. Mangum, Randall Mangum. I do not have their phone numbers, and if you go online, you can't get their direct emails, but they do have a thing, if you look them up, that you can send them a message and ask them to please support HB 531. It not only will hopefully stop the increases in our homeowners insurance and our car insurance, but it also has a little thing in there that caps liabilities for cities, because this sounds kind of crazy, because the federal government is immune from liability. The state government caps their liability at $1 million. The county governments, the state caps the county government's liability at $1 million. They do not cap cities' liability at all, which, who cares, right? Well, you should care, because you're the people who pay the taxes if we get sued that are going to have to pay for that judgment. So again, House Bill 531, please get in touch with our senators and ask them to support it. It's very important for your pocketbook and protects the city. Thank you all for coming out. Please be kind to us in public comments, and we really do appreciate the fact that y'all are here.
Thank you, Todd. And for the mayor's report, just one report. This past Saturday, the city of Lawrenceville invited the city of Snellville, mainly police and public works departments, to go play softball. They arranged the game to be at Coolray Field, so that was kind of cool. And the mayor and I had a wager on the game, and so it looks like I'm going to be the one being picked up in a police car to take the mayor of Lawrenceville out to lunch. We were not successful in that game, but I've heard we're going to work hard for next year. It's like, yes? Yes. Yeah. He did. There were 3 Berry brothers, 2 on our team and 1 on the other team. Yeah. Yes, as soon as I know, you'll know. Yeah. Yep. So it was fun and good-hearted, and I wasn't able to stay for the whole game. They were doing a home run derby first, but it was a nice event, and the weather turned out to be spectacular Saturday morning. With that, I will close my mayor's report, and we'll open the floor to public comment. We do have one person signed up, so we'll start with that person, but you didn't have to sign up if you would like to speak. So if Mr. Kendall is still here, there you are. Come on up, give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes on one topic, please.
Okay. My name is Ken Dial. I'm Zermatt Way in Misty River Estates. Mostly I want to address the topic of the summary case, the case summary that was turned in to y'all. One of my questions is, has Mr. Jalali from the K&J Builders or Luxury Homes, has he been vetted?
Mr. Dial, this isn't a question and answer format tonight, so you're able to state your
Just
concerns.
statements.
And then we
Okay.
can get back with you on any specific
Okay.
questions you'd like addressed.
All right. In the Snellville 2545 comprehensive plan, under executive summary, and that's on right near the front on page Roman numeral 8, and under strategy, it says, enhance Snellville's residential neighborhoods while diversifying housing options near the town center. Now, what I'm talking about, of course, is the K&J Luxury Homes. It's now being called, I think, Summit Chase West Development. And as y'all know, it's in our neighborhood. It's not near town center. Also in the comprehensive plan, there are multiple places throughout that refer to green space, need for green space. And I'm wondering if that's even been considered. And I know you can answer that, it's not in the form of a question, but it should be. Green space throughout. And yet here is the golden opportunity for a park on the east side of Snellville. And it's being wanting to change in the small residential. The on page 3 of the case summary, again with the 2045 comprehensive plan, he has got the 150 single-family lots. His proposed development has a gross density of 1.57 lots per acre. And that's not false, it's just misleading. If it were 1.57 lots per acre, it would be over 27,000 square feet for each lot. And these lots are only just over 12,000 square feet. So that is just misleading. On page 4, the writer has done a very good job on the description of the Summit Chase character area. Very good. And under predominant land uses, he even points out that the surrounding area, which is RS30, is a state residential, and he's pointed that out, and also park recreation. It's a good job of pointing that out. Key implementation strategies down further, again, they talk about, or he talks about, preserve green space in wooded areas. Down at the bottom of page 4, in compliance with the 2045 comprehensive plan, it's got the proposed development is compatible with surrounding land uses and in line with the policies of the 2045 comprehensive plan. Now, Mr. Landum has also got that on his original application on paragraph 4, sentences 1 and 3, almost the exact same thing. And the size of the lots are not anywhere near comparable. And because of that, they're not compatible. There's one of them, as I go further back here, it's in Southwind subdivision. Their lot is, I think it's 202,000 square feet, something like that. You could put almost 17 of these little lots on his lot. That's the size difference. It's massive, and it is not compatible. On page 6, skipping over to page 6, it's got the site plan analysis. On the site plan analysis, he's got down toward the middle of this paragraph about a secondary road, 20 feet wide, fire access road connection at the Green Turf cul-de-sac. Now, fire trucks are average somewhere around 11 or 12 foot wide, and they're talking about this 20-foot wide secondary road, I guess they call it. And I don't know if that's going to pass the fire marshal's muster. I'm going to try to find out this week. Let's see. On page 7, in the case summary, he's got approval. And yet, on page 8, the Planning Commission report, there was a unanimous vote, 6-0 to deny. And so I'm wondering how it come up with approval, with conditions, by the way. The future land use and zoning of this area are accurate. It is about, this development that's being proposed is about 90% surrounded by RS 30, a state subdivision. And it just does not, it needs to stay RS 30, exactly what it is now zoned. Not RS 5 and not RS 15, RS 30. It's perfect the way it is. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dahl. If there's anyone else that would like to speak in public comment, you may come forward. 5 minutes on one topic, please. Seeing none, I will close the public comment and entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There is a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. So we are done. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and drive safely headed home.